Welcome back everyone to Chilli's farm. Today I have with me my dad, Edwin.
Thank you for inviting me to your headquarters, Chilli. It's
No
a pleasure
problemo.
to be here.
We share the headquarters.
Right, well,
Okay, sorry.
well, what we're going to do today is we're going to have a chat, and we set ourselves probably an impossible task. Because the question we're going to be discussing is the answer to life, success and everything.
Hang on, that rings bells, Dad. You're stealing something there.
Oh, no, this is very original.
Okay. It sounds like Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, my favourite series, book of series.
Damn.
Series of books.
That is kind of true. Yes, there was that question there as well.
What's the answer?
42.
Yeah,
Isn't it? That's a good number.
beautiful number.
Adds to 6. Well, numerologists believe that that's a positive number. Well, look, it's a big question, big topic. The answer to life, success and everything. And before we get into our discussion, the nitty-gritty, I've got some notes here. But then in the morning, I realized that I completely forgot one important thing.
Which was?
Well, I was thinking about the word goodness, and especially as it relates to the Bible, because in it, Jesus said, by their fruits you will know them. And really, he's referring to not just the inner goodness of people, but the fruit of goodness, i.e. when you do things in life, when you really prove that you are good. And, by their fruits you will know them is, how do you know if the apple is good?
You bite into it.
Well,
You see if it's rotten or if it's nice and crispy and juicy.
yeah, exactly. So it's not just an empty word, goodness, but you try to do your best in life and live by spiritual standards that are set in the Bible. But thinking of that in the background as an overlying sort of theme, and now we're going to go through my notes because they're all over the place, but
Tiny has something to say.
yeah, she probably laid an egg.
She's very loud.
That's also pretty good because we love Tiny's eggs,
Well,
even though they're very small.
Nutritious and delicious.
But let's get back to these all over the place notes. What's the most important thing in life, Chilli?
Well, I have to say that it's family.
Family. There was also another answer to that because I was talking about with you, remember?
What?
Well, the 70, 10, 10, 10.
Yeah, but I think family comes first.
Well, remember I would ask that question and I would say, well, no, you can flip it around and things like that.
Yeah.
It's in no particular order. But yeah, family is very important. And if your family, well, I mean, you hope that your family is wonderful and great. And sometimes you have disagreements and sometimes you have falling out. And unfortunately, you can't choose your family. So what do you do when the family lets you down, Chilli?
Like really, really lets you down?
Yes.
Find new family, I guess. Find community. Find your tribe. Find friends that can be considered as family.
That's the answer to all those people out there that may be having a difficult time with their family. So it's no laughing matter really, but it is a good alternative if you are all alone in this world. And it's pretty sad if you are alone in this world. That's why humans are social animals and we need to reach out, we need to make friends, we need to help one another. And by that, we grow our circle, we grow our family, grow our community, grow our tribe, and we're all stronger for it.
Can't do anything on your own, really.
Well,
It's hard.
it is very hard. I mean, in farming, I mean, we've looked at farms and stuff, and you know, we've never seen a farm that just one person in it.
No.
No.
They'd burn out.
You can't do everything by yourself, so you need help. Now, family is very important, and now the other one, the 70-10-10-10. Where does that come from?
Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn, my favorite motivational speaker / modern day philosopher, Jim Rohn from America. Actually, well, I've heard him say in his talks that he's farm boy from Idaho.
Idaho.
So really, when he grew up, he must have grown up on a farm. And that was in reference to the best financial plan that there is, 70-10-10-10. So Jim Rohn used to say, you pay your taxes, you pay your obligations, and then what's after that, what's left after that, you split it up into 4. 70% you live off on yourself, you spend on yourself, your costs, outgoings, etc. And then the other 30% split into equal parts, 10-10-10. 10% you invest for yourself. 10% you invest in a pooled investment, because some investments are too big for you. You can't just, you know, you don't have enough money to go and buy a corner block with a petrol station, KFC and McDonald's on it as an investment. It's just going to cost millions and millions of dollars. So, you know, most people don't have that kind of money. So they have to pool the investment sometimes with some like-minded people and invest in things that they believe in. So that's that part. And the other one, the 10%, is you have to give to charity, or you have to be charitable to people that you would like to help with. So it can be really anybody, your friends, your family, your people that you don't know, people that you sometimes hear of people suffering for no fault of their own. Maybe they're persecuted for their beliefs in some ways, and you want to help them, and that's completely fine. But you have to do that as you get started in life, even from a child, because it's easy to give 10 cents out of a dollar.
It gets ingrained in your head. Yep.
But if you make 100 grand, how much do you have to give?
$10,000.
Gee,
Which is a
Chilli,
lot.
would you be able to do that? 10 grand?
Well, I think I could, because I've done 70-10-10-10 for a few years, I guess.
Okay. Well, just remember that when them
When the time comes.
when you start making millions a year, that will get harder.
Give 100 grand.
But it has to be meaningful. You know, some of these charities out there, they're a little bit fake
Oh, they're scams.
and scammy. So why would you want to contribute to what's that thing that's supposedly really good for us? WEF?
Oh, you're getting controversial, man.
Yeah, they're saying that they're gonna find ways how to control the water for humanity, for the betterment of humanity. Isn't that right? Yeah, the guy from Nestle.
Yeah, what did you say? Water is a privilege or something?
Not a right,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
something like that.
Yeah, 50 litres to 100 litres a day, that's all.
That's all you get.
And if I want to wash my car?
No, it's illegal.
Too bad.
You can't do it.
All right. Okay, so 70-10-10-10. Oh, and just a little side note, because it's so important. The amounts, the ratio can change.
That's true.
So in the beginning, when you've got babkas,
You have to live off more. 70%.
right, well, it could be 97, 111,
Oh,
right?
that's true.
Because it's a principle. So at the beginning, you can find it really, really tough. So that's the sort of split that happens in the beginning when you really find it difficult. But when it gets better and easier, you know, the ratios can change, and you may end up, you know, eventually you may end up 10% and 30, 30, 30. You may end up with 1%. You know, the amount of money that you produce, the abundance that you get in your life, you may be able to, you only may need 1% to live off in a happy way in your life.
Could happen.
And all this leftover money, then you split it up 33, 33, 33. You know, so that's very interesting and important. Anyway, I would suggest that anybody who's interested in financial independence, look up the Jim Rohn and what he has to say about that topic.
He's got some gems.
Yeah, it's very, very good. Yeah, well.
So next, what's after 70,
I've got live within your means, work part-time on your fortune, even if you have to work full-time somewhere to pay the bills. Compound interest miracle. Well, there's a lot of people talking about that, but you know, Warren Buffett and wasn't it also Einstein referred to compound interest?
I don't know.
Look, coming back to Douglas Adams, because the adventures of what's the private detective?
Oh, Dirk Gently.
Dirk Gently, right?
That's
the
a
stuff
great
that we
series.
learn from that series is really that everything is connected to everything. That's the overriding theme.
That's what he says.
And we find that true in absolutely everything in life. Everything is connected and everything is connected and everything is connected.
Yeah.
Plants are connected to animals and animals connected to plants and to the soil, and the soil's gives back to the animals and the plants. It's all connected.
To humans.
That's right. And you know, if we live in harmony with those cycles, and that's the other thing, cycles, is that many people don't appreciate how important cycles are. You know, even seasons of life. That's what Jim Rohn wrote a book about, seasons of life. But it's seasons in nature as well. You have winter, spring, summer, autumn, and they cycle constantly. And then you have day and night, and it's always, you have these cycles. And sometimes you go through the bad times, sometimes you go through the good times. It's just knowing how to act during each of those times.
That reminds me of the other quote, Jim Rohn. Your favourite, the ant philosophy.
The ant philosophy, yes. Well, the ant philosophy, that's I left that to the end.
Oopsie.
The ant philosophy.
Erase that from your memory.
We're going to cover that in the end. But you're quite right. Okay. Next. Well, I wrote here, you know, what's really valuable, what's real money, and I've got land, animals, gold, silver, producing abundance, honey and bees.
I was going to say liquid gold.
And health that you get from good food and avoiding poisons or the seed oils that are out there.
Oh, so many poisons, not just seed oils.
Well, poisons that sometimes we get really, really cranky when we get, sprayed by the government, whether it's the chemtrails, whether it's the spraying for fire ants, whether it's trying to force people to get vaccinated.
I saw they're spraying for those mosquitoes, and they're spraying for the glyphosate in some countries.
Where is informed consent?
Yeah.
Where is informed consent? Where is it? We have not given consent to this rubbish that is going on around the world, and including in our country. We have not given the consent. And may I remind everybody what happened during Nuremberg trials. Apparently, informed consent was so important that they killed 7 doctors in Nuremberg trials. 7 Nazi doctors got killed.
Wow.
Right? Because people that they have experimented on did not give them informed consent to be experimented on. So why are we being experimented on? Who knows exactly what are all the consequences? And we have again learned, right, that everything is connected.
For sure.
So you can't say, oh, this is just, oh, what did they say? What did they say in UK when they were announcing all these
The dimming.
the experiments that they're going to do? They said that it's reversible. Really?
Oh, I smell some
Who
cow shit.
studied that, and who can say that whatever they spray, the nanoparticles, they can go out there and collect everything and put it back in a box? That reminds me of another saying, the Pandora's box.
Yeah,
Once
you've
you open
opened
it. Right.
Exactly. Once it's
Okay.
in the ground, all those.
I feel like
Things.
I've completed my rant.
Now we need a deep breath.
Right, deep breath. So we have to go back to some interesting things I've written here.
Yeah, what?
Well, we haven't really talked about it a lot, but honey and bees and frequencies.
That could go on for hours, I guess, that conversation, if you
We
go into
really
depth.
want to get into beekeeping and yeah.
Not just for the honey, but for the vibrations,
Well,
the frequencies.
So we looked into quite a bit about the history of beekeeping and how
Yeah,
bees were kept for hundreds and hundreds, for centuries.
thousands of years, centuries,
Right.
yes.
They were kept in skeps.
Skeps.
Right.
Which is like, you know,
What happened to skeps?
they've disappeared.
Why?
Because they're illegal.
Apparently. So I wonder who made the laws to make the skeps illegal after hundreds and hundreds of years. Apparently it was all done for the sake of
Bee
health.
Bee
Bee
health.
health,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah. Sounds
Because
terrible.
it's too hard to open the hive.
Because apparently bees were dying.
Yeah.
Were they?
For thousands of years. Wow.
Anyway, gee, that's a rabbit hole.
Do we go into it?
No.
I think
But
we stay clear.
we've made a discovery that there's the best way of keeping bees is allowing bees to mimic the way that they used to live in nature. So Layon's hive or structure, or the deep hive, where you have
French. Yep.
deep frames that will allow bees to lay their brood in a particular way,
In a circle.
and then adjust as the seasons roll on. You know, the cold season and the warm season and so forth, and that allows bees to live happier,
Less stress.
less
which is
stress,
less
and also
disease.
for the beekeepers, apparently it's way less work involved in maintaining a healthy beehive using the Layon's method.
Well, that's partially to do because you don't really touch the brood. The honey that you want to harvest is on the outer edges. So you just
Correct.
keep the bees at bay. They're calm, stress-free. You take what honey you need, leave the bees with honey.
Yeah,
It just works.
yeah. Well, just to talk a little bit more about health and food. So obviously we would see a lot of value in keeping our own chickens for the eggs.
Yeah.
But also recently, I mean, we have really understood how chickens can even help with stress conditions
For sure.
in humans.
Yeah.
So humans that have gone through a traumatic experience,
PTSD.
including, for whatever reason, PTSD, they can really help these people to de-stress and calm, find the inner calm, because chickens actually have personalities.
Oh man, we have what, 15? They all have different personalities. Some sweet ones, like Astrid, the well summer hen. Oh my goodness, she's such a sweetheart. You just take her on your lap and you give her a little rub, and then she just melts, and that is stress relief for me and for Astrid. It's just...
I wish we had Astrid now to show everyone, but maybe we'll do something a bit later to add to this video.
Take her out.
Okay, well, we're going through here reasonably more than halfway through the list. So next is plants as medicine and mushrooms and
Okay.
raw milk.
Raw milk.
Essentially, that is also medicine in a way, because it's good bacteria that
Yes.
helps with your gut health and with your sinuses.
Not only the good bacteria, but it's all the beneficial vitamins, minerals, and amino acids
Yeah,
that you don't get in regular milk because it's just killed. It's zapped.
as complete food as you can get, really. Raw milk,
Yes.
as well as chicken eggs. So if you've got access to both, you're doing really well. So, Chilli, to sort of sum up, to be, that question, life, success, and everything, really, the important things are family, living within your means, be good to one another, be generous,
Eat good food.
well, you have to look after yourself. So
Health.
that's very important, the health. How do we maintain our health? How we regain our health? It's through this pure, regen, organic type practices that we can grow our own food or support other farmers out there that
Are doing this.
are doing the regen organic food.
Yeah.
So to do that, that's really, once you're on that path and you're doing your best, that's where the happiness lies, isn't it?
The ikigai, the meaning of life, right?
When you're connected to the ground, to the soil, to your animals, and they bless you, you bless them, when you drink raw milk, it's an experience and happiness in itself. And when you have scrambled eggs in the morning with a bit of bacon or something like that, or pork, fried pork or whatever.
Like a pork chop.
Yeah.
Or some mince, whatever. Lamb chop, whatever you want.
That's really...
Butter. Don't forget about butter.
Yeah, butter's good.
Everything's better with butter.
Whatever's swimming in it, let it swim in it.
You always say I have too much butter.
Butter on a steak. Oh God. Steak fried in butter and then...
Butter on top.
Butter on
like
top.
cold butter on with the steak. Doesn't matter that there's fat on the steak. You just add a little blob of butter.
That is
Just
good.
Perfection.
That is good.
Perfection, Madon.
So, let's conclude today's...
Talk.
What do we call this? Talk?
Chat. It's not a fireside chat.
No,
It's
it's still a chat. We had a good talk, good conversation. But let's conclude with the Ant Philosophy by Jim Rohn. And
Take it away.
I'm just going to read what I got from the internet, from his writing. The ant philosophy. They have an amazing 4-part philosophy. Oh, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Before I read this, I have to say, what is philosophy?
Oh, here we go.
Right? Because people get a little bit like hazy-eyed when somebody, like, imagine someone's going to come and ask you, what is philosophy? How do you answer that? Well, Jim Rohn gave a really good definition of what philosophy is. He said, simply, philosophy is simply what you know and how you feel about it. And that's your personal philosophy.
So good.
It is just so simple. So, let me start again.
Okay.
The Ant Philosophy by Jim Rohn. So when he says that they have an amazing 4-part philosophy, you can get the drift. Is what they know and how they feel about it, right? And here is the first part. Ants never quit. That's a good philosophy. If they're headed somewhere and you try to stop them, they'll look for another way. They'll climb over, they'll climb under, and they'll climb around. They keep looking for another way. What a neat philosophy, to never quit, looking for a way to get where you're supposed to go. Second, ants think winter all summer. That's an important perspective. You can't be so naive as to think summer will last forever. So ants are gathering in their winter food in the middle of summer. An ancient story says, don't build your house on the sand in the summer. Why do we need that advice? Because it is important to be realistic. In the summer, you've got to think storm, you've got to think rocks as you enjoy the sand and the sun. Think ahead. The third part of the ant philosophy is that ants think summer all winter.
Yep.
That is so important. During the winter, ants remind themselves, this won't last long, we'll soon be out of here. And the first warm day, the ants are out. If it turns cold again, they'll dive back down. But then they come out the first warm day. They can't wait to get out. And here's the last part of the ant philosophy. How much will an ant gather during the summer to prepare for the winter? All he possibly can. What an incredible philosophy. The all you possibly can philosophy. Wow, what a great seminar to attend, the ant seminar. Never give up, look ahead, stay positive, and do all you can. Thank you, Jim Rohn. And thank you, Chilli,
Thank you, Daddy.
for this wonderful chat that we had. And thank you all for listening to us.
Bring out Astrid. You
Yeah,
said
if you want.
you said to finalize it with Astrid.
We can.
I'll be back.
That's it.
She's a bit unsure. What's going on? What's going on? Astrid, what's going on?
She's a good girl.
Come on. You don't want cuddles today. Have the boys been rough? Don't whack me in the face, darling. There we go.
Oh.
Just calm down. Just calm down. Just calm down. Just calm down. That's it. That's it, darling. You'll be fine. You okay? Oof. Getting a lot of feathers on your neck. There's a good girl. Showing your butt to the camera, are you?
Yeah.
It's a bit inappropriate, darling.
Well, you've seen it here. Chilli the chicken whisperer.
Well,
Or hen whisperer.
yeah. With Astrid at least. The
Astrid
others.
whisperer.
What are you saying?
She says that she likes you.
Now she's getting a bit of a chest rub.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Come on, Daniel.